What does the combination of Kansas City Southern with either Canadian Pacific or Canadian National mean to BNSF in terms of competition? And do you think the synergies of the merger will justify the multiple paid?
It's obviously a transaction we followed very closely with both Canadian National and Canadian Pacific bidding to purchase Kansas City Southern. Either of those companies acquiring Kansas City Southern will have an impact on BNSF. What they're basically proposing is to create a north-south railway that goes from Canada into Mexico. We do have a strong presence in Mexico, not as strong as some of our competition, but we would feel competition there. So we'll follow that transaction very closely. As it goes before the Surface Transportation Board, the standard that will be applied is that competition has to be protected or enhanced. So that's our opportunity to protect our franchise on behalf of our customers. So we move intermodal business both in and out of there on behalf of certain customers. We'll want to protect the rights of our customers there. So we'll be active in the approval process, but there's no question in the end it impacts our franchise. Warren?
Yeah, it's not huge, but it affects both the Union Pacific and BNSF to a small degree, a relatively small degree. But that's not really the worry of the Surface Transportation Board. Their job is to do what's best for the shippers. And in terms of the price that's being paid, like you say, if you can borrow all the money for nothing, it doesn't make much difference to people. And this would not be being paid under a different interest rate environment. I mean, it's very simple. But it would make there's no magic to the Kansas City Southern. It's got I think their deal with Mexico ends in 2047, and I mean, it will it's the number of carloads carried. I mean, it's not going to change that much. But it is kind of interesting. There's two major Canadian, what they call Class 1 railroads, and there's 5 in the United States, and this will result, in essentially 3 of the units being Canadian, 4 being U.S., which is not the way you normally think of the way the development of the railroad system would work in the United States. But it's, we've talked about it plenty, and CP or either Canadian Pacific or Canadian National is very likely to get it. I think the Surface Transportation Board voted 4-1, didn't they, the other day? Didn't get. Am I correct on?
They voted on an initial trust structure that they had to approve for Canadian Pacific, and that was a 4-1 vote, as you noted, Warren. So yeah, they're moving forward with the evaluation of it.
Yeah, and normally railroad deals are very long, take a long time for them to evaluate. But in this case, I think they have two opposing trust proposals, and in effect, by if they make a quick decision on which trust proposal that they allow, I don't say you allow 2 proposals exactly. So it may be a very accelerated decision. I don't know, but it's up to the Surface Transportation Board to do what's best for what their obligation is to the country to do.